Tonight on BlackBeardLogic, we're cutting through the noise with straight facts, no sugarcoating, and pure logic on the stories that hit close to home and beyond. First, the Cass County State Attorney race is underway. Hegvik just announced that she is seeking re-election after winning in 2020. She's been in office since 2006. That's nearly 20 years as a prosecutor. But just who is Hegvik? Tough on crime or a progressive social justice warrior? My thoughts on that in light of her recent interview with Jay Thomas. We'll dissect her record and see if it's delivering real results for Cass County. Next, we have Representative Nancy Mace, who's pushing hard to force the release of House Ethics Committee reports on congressional sexual misconduct, victim privacy, redacted, and protected. This was just days ago, and the House crushed it in a bipartisan 357 to 65 landslide, bottling it up in committee instead of transparency. How did our own representative vote? We'll lay out who stood for sunlight and those who chose to cover it up. Logic says if it's taxpayer-funded ethics probes, why hide it? And then Mace again. This time in the House Oversight hearing, she moved to subpoena Ilhan Omar's immigration record and her alleged brother-husband Ahmed Hirsi over long-running marriage fraud claims. Bipartisan agreement, Democrats and Republicans teamed up to table it and kill it. Think about that. Hypocrisy alert. What does this say about real accountability when both sides circle the wagon? Shifting gears, Kristi Noem, textbook failing up until she finally failed out. As DHS Secretary, her tenure was disastrous. Classic failing up until gravity won. We'll take a look at that. And then we're going to circle back to local Fargo crime problems. We'll take a look at a video of a group of teens ganging up on a single victim, reminiscent of videos that I've seen in Minneapolis. I'll give you my take on this and the effectiveness of mall security. And finally, Fargo City Commission just gave the Human Rights Commission another 60 days and a 4-1 vote this week to figure out their restructuring plan or potentially dissolve. This is after already getting 2 months to sort out just what the hell they're good for in the first place. If after 2 months you can't come up with anything, I think you're dead weight. What are your thoughts? Time to define your value or move on. No fluff, no filters, just logic and the unvarnished truth. Join me on BlackBeardLogic tonight. Good evening, folks. I'm hoping this mic does a lot better tonight than it did the other night. I made some tweaks. I think it was more of a user issue than anything. So there you go. Let's get it. Yes, sir. So we got a pretty packed show for you guys tonight. Couple of things that I found interesting this week. Last week, one thing that I did not get a chance to address, and some of my friends in the Fargo area asked me my opinion on this first issue that we're going to talk about, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about it. And when we get to the back end of the program, I'm going to try to pull all of it together. There's a problem that I see in local, state, and even national government. There is this creeping progressive mindset that is creeping in, and it's making all of us less safe. And it seems to me that a lot of well-meaning folks, they vote for people who are progressive, and they think they're nice, and they think they're this and that. I don't know what the mindset is. I'm not a progressive. I'm not a liberal. So I pretty much say exactly what's on my mind. You never have to wonder. You never have to wonder about what Leon thinks. I'm going to tell you. But this this Fargo, the way the Fargo situation is shaping out, I am not optimistic that we're going to get like any type of real reform or real change or anything is going to get better. And I'll show you why in a couple of these clips. We're going to move right to the first one. This is the Cass County state's attorney race. And I think she's the only one that has thrown her hat in the ring as of yet. But this is her on my buddy Jay Thomas's show last week. Did not get a chance to like dig into it. I was driving as I listened to it, and a couple of things just kind of stood out to me. But this caller, this guy, and there were a couple of different callers that I thought were really good, but this one summed it up just perfectly.
Hegvik, go ahead.
Taking my call, Jay. I imagine she's a nice person inside, but all I've heard is basically social justice type liberal stuff nonsense that doesn't have any place in being in the state's attorney's office. So what I'm hearing is explanations for things in this kind of, all these studies were made and this and that, and this is what they do. They come up with this inside their groups and they make their studies and they perpetuate it. And it's not what we want in North Dakota from our attorney, from our prosecutors. I want to hear you talk about how you're going to protect people, how you're going to protect the working people, how you're going to protect the mothers and the daughters and the people that are out there working. Not all this mercy, social justice warrior. I mean, that's what's infected our law schools have been infected over the past 20, 25 years.
Listen.
Barack Obama is a perfect example of it. Social justice warrior. They get out, they enter the world thinking they're going to use the law to save people. No, that's a priest's job. That's a pastor's job. That's a parent's job. That's a counselor's job. When they get to the state's attorney, they should either be in jail, scared straight, or realize this is not the state for them to be in. And this nonsense about everything leading back to some sort of, the comment was made that I have to think about how they're going to behave when they get out of jail. That's not their job. Their job is to prosecute to the law and protect the good people and weed these people out and get them out of our lives. I'm just blown away by this interview, and I imagine there must be thousands of other people that feel the exact same way.
Well,
it's just very frustrating. Very frustrating.
Ty, appreciate.
So, I thought that guy kind of expressed exactly the way I felt listening to that interview. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I had never heard of her. We haven't lived in Fargo for some time now, and so I didn't know her background. But after hearing her on Jay Thomas and understanding that she supports giving out the needles, she thinks that's a great thing. She thinks that they're like what he is touching on there in that comment to Jay is she mentioned multiple times the studies that show that giving out these needles and booth kits and crack pipes and all of this stuff is just great and it helps and blah blah blah, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wait a minute, this is the state's attorney. She made it a point. She made it a point to several times in this interview to express her support for those chuckle nuts. And I'm shaking my head. I'm like, okay, now it makes sense now. It makes sense. Well, if this is the prosecutor, if this is the Cass County state's attorney, then a lot of things start making sense. A lot of things. And you'll notice a theme. There are a lot of progressives running Fargo. A lot. From the police chief, he's a progressive. He's a Black Lives Matter guy. He's a kneel with those chuckle nuts on the courtroom step type person. That's who he is. That's why a large chunk of the police force left. That's why crime is ticking up. That's why you see things like what we're going to discuss later in the show. You see all of these young black, I'm going to guess they're black. I think just from the look of them, They might be like an immigrant community, but just just looking at them, without being able to hear their voices or hear what they're saying or anything like that, I'm just going to go with black. But you see those guys like out in the open. They know cameras are there, and they beat the hell out of this kid. That's what soft on crime gets you. And I'm going to show you something else right now. Give me 1 second here. Blocking that guy. Okay. So if you see here, over here, who we are right there, if you can see that. This group, so obviously after I heard that, after I listened to the entire interview, after I heard her dismiss, so a little background, and I kind of broke that story about all the needles in Fargo that are given out by the city of Fargo. Like one of the city commissioners sits on the board that authorizes this garbage, and surprise, surprise, he's a liberal. It's the only decent person up there is Michelle, and she's like the lone voice on the Fargo City Commission, the lone sane voice. I thought Pepcorn was coming around, but we're going to talk about something that happened, and now he's playing politics. He switched a position on something that I thought is just like a no-brainer, and we're going to talk about that later in the show. But this group here that Kim is all like gaga over who we are, the Who We Are project, and you can see here. Here, let me go back to that. Where are you? Right here. If you can see, this is from her page. Yeah, I did a little digging. And as you can see on this page, she thinks these guys are great. She thinks they're wonderful. And she's the Cass County State's attorney. These people are straight up bigots. This whole Who We Are project is anti-ICE. It is a nonprofit run by a bunch of black bigots who believe that white people are bad, that this whole system that we live under is set up under white supremacy, and it has been that way since the foundation, and they're a proponent of the 1619 project. Like the more I dug into this organization, the more it disgusts me. It's everything that I stand against. It's everything that I hate is this project and people like this. They want everyone to look at everything through the lens of race. And Cass County's so Kim is a fan of these people. She's a fan. She's also a liberal. If you go on her page, you see the rainbows. You see where she's coming from. I mean, so to me, this explains why Fargo is going down the toilet. Is people like this, and not just people like this, but people like this in positions of power. Like I just kind of looked at Fargo's topology when it comes to politics and positions of power. We have a lot of awfuls, AWFULs, that are in positions of power. And I might get a little hate for saying that, but it explains a lot. It explains a lot. I remember when Kirsten Baszler, the DPI, when she was in all that controversy, she's a alcoholic. She's abusive to her husband. She has public drunken fights, and she is the Department of Public Instruction. She is like the leader of our kids. She is crafting what the curriculum that's going into our children's head, and she is a garbage person, and she keeps failing up. As a matter of fact, she's tapped. She's in the Trump administration now because apparently that's a thing. And I don't want to come off as like jaded or but come on. And here's another little known fact. I mean, if you've been following me for a while, you know this, but this was some years ago. I did an expose on her where she was telling North Dakota that we don't do Common Core, we don't do the whole white people bad thing. But then I found her in a chat room in a team a meeting with a bunch of bow-tied bigots out of Chicago, learning how to play down her whiteness so the black kids can grow or some stupid thing. She even got a certificate for that, and I did an expose on it. I'm like, because she was telling everyone there's no Common Core, there's no DEI, there's no this, there's no that, and that was a lie. And these awfuls, and if you follow me, you know what an awful is. These are problems, guys. These are problems. Like, if I were in Chicago, I'd be like yelling about the progressive black guys that are running that city and the black lesbians that are on the police force and that's not what's happening in North Dakota. Even though those people are influencing your leaders, and we're wondering why is our quality of life going down? And again, when I first got to this area, people didn't lock their doors. They didn't lock their doors. When I met my wife, and I forget the context, but we went. She took me to her parents' house, and they were delayed. I think they were at work or something like that. And I was on the phone with my father-in-law, and he was like, "Just go in the house." And I'm like, "Well, where's the key?" "Oh, it's open." Like I'm a black guy, you know. This kind of stuff, like you always lock your doors. You you can't do that now. You can't do that. People could leave their cars running in the wintertime and don't worry about it. You can't do that now. And there is a clear reason why. Now, we can stick our heads in the sand. You guys can get pissed off at old BlackBeardLogic here, old Leon Francis, for telling you about your awful problem. But you're never going to fix this issue unless you address that awful problem. There are way too many. And again, I've been, for the past couple of days, just looking at the political topology of North Dakota. Fargo in particular, some Bismarck, but overall, and you can see a very, you want to know how you get masks in schools when we all knew better? Awfuls. You want to know how you get DEI in school, in your kids' schools? Awfuls. You want to know how you get thousands of migrants from third world countries flooding your kids' schools, flooding the malls, flooding all the public areas? Awfuls. That's how you get it. The social services over there staffed up full of them. And now, apparently, and Kim has been on the job since, I think, 2006. And we're wondering why crime is so bad. It blows my mind when she's talking about reformative justice and all of these social warrior buzzwords. That should give you pause. Like that guy, that caller that called in, he got it. Like me, before I even heard his comment, my brain was right where he was. Good evening, One Shot Cap. Dan, David, how are you guys doing? But before I'm going to play this one more time. I want you to hear this guy. This is a guy in Fargo who listened to the entire interview like I did. I'm driving. I'm guessing he was driving or he was working, but the entire reason I decided to dig into Kim is because of the buzzwords I kept hearing her utter. They're the Berkeley type. They're the type of buzzwords you get when you're on a team phone call with black bigots. These are the buzzwords you get. You're taught this mindset. And she's been taught well. And she hides it. Like there's not a ton about her and her social justice movement. But if you just kind of follow her just a little bit, you can see there are clues. There are definite clues. There's rainbow flags, and there's this and that, and there's, these idiots who are anti. How can you be a city attorney, a Cass County attorney, and you support people who are anti-law enforcement? I don't understand that. How is that a thing? It would explain why people are so emboldened as to go out and fight with law enforcement. It would explain that. It would also explain why people are, they're okay with having little riots in the city. It would explain this whole restorative justice BS, why you got black kids out there stomping a mud hole in a white kid. They know that if they go up, and if you listen to the interview, she says things like this. Not the way that I'm saying it, but if those little black boys go in front of her or one of her prosecutors, her attorneys, they're going to get the restorative justice. Now, the white kid that got his butt kicked, he's not going to get any restorative justice, because obviously he's the aggressor because of his whiteness. Dude, I want you to hear this caller again, because from my brain, like a funnel through this guy's mouth, and this guy's a white guy. I'm going to play this one more time.
Hegvik, go ahead.
Taking my call, Jay.
Yep.
I imagine she's a nice person inside, but all I've heard is basically social justice type liberal stuff nonsense that doesn't have any place in being in the state's attorney's office. So what I'm hearing is explanations for things in this kind of, all these studies were made and this and that, and this is what they do. They come up with this inside their groups and they make their studies and they perpetuate it. And it's not what we want in North Dakota from our attorney, from our prosecutors. I want to hear you talk about how you're going to protect people, how you're going to protect the working people, how you're going to protect the mothers and the daughters and the people that are out there working. Not all this mercy, social justice warrior. I mean, that's what's infected our law schools have been infected over the past 20, 25 years. Barack Obama is a perfect example of it. Social justice warrior. They get out, they enter the world thinking they're going to use the law to save people. No, that's a priest's job. That's a pastor's job. That's a parent's job. That's a counselor's job. When they get to the state's attorney, they should either be in jail, scared straight, or realize this is not the state for them to be in. And this nonsense about everything leading back to some sort of, the comment was made that I have to think about how they're going to behave when they get out of jail. That's not their job. Their job is to prosecute to the law and protect the good people and weed these people out and get them out of our lives. I'm just blown away by this interview. And I imagine there must be thousands of other people that feel the exact same way.
And I'm telling you that there were a ton of people that felt exactly the same way because they called in. I didn't call in because it would have been way too fiery. If I called in, they would, and Jay has never had to dump me before. But had I called in, he may have had to use the dump button. Like, I could not believe the garbage that I was hearing. I can't believe that this woman actually won. But I can believe she's been in this position of power for this long because it explains a lot. When I see her connection to black empowerment groups, it explains everything. It explains everything. And at this point, Jay had been interviewing her for like an hour, and that's all I heard. Now, after this caller called in and he kind of let go, she went to talking about, well, we prosecute, and Jay even had to correct her. He had to correct her because she said something to the effect that if you bring a gun into Fargo, we're gonna get. And she said an illegal gun, just like that. Like I wasn't stuttering. That's how she said it. Like she first said, if you bring a gun into Fargo, then they're going after you. And then Jay was like, whoa, whoa. And she walked it back. And I'm like, okay. That explains a lot. I'm going to get off that. I got really good friends who are friends with her. I mean, I don't care. I said what I said. When I do my Facebook post and my social media posts, I oftentimes put that little moniker in there. I said what I said. And so I said what I said. I think that I hope to God someone else is running. I haven't seen anyone, but I hope to God someone throws their hat into the ring. Because if not, again, I'm on the farm. I'm on a farm in the middle of nowhere. So I don't have to go to Fargo. I don't have to go to the mall. I can completely bypass all that nonsense. But to my friends who live in Fargo, things like again, there are always clues. There are always breadcrumbs. All you have to do is listen. This woman, Kim, should be nowhere near the prosecutor's office. No, she may be an indigent defender. Maybe she can go to Monty Mertz's office and do some restorative justice over there. I mean, if you're gonna if that's the hat you're gonna wear, that's where you should do it. Because, like this guy said, if you're the prosecutor, your mindset shouldn't be for the criminal. Oh, how's he going to behave when he gets out? Are we going to... None of that. No, absolutely none of that is your concern. Your concern is to throw the book at these people. The people that are making Fargo less safe. Your job is to throw the book at them so that we feel safe. And I see these people go on and, like, in media, and they talk about how safe Fargo is. Again, there's a video of a mob of idiots stomping the crap out of one little white kid. He wasn't little. I mean, he was kind of big. But just like in Minneapolis, I've seen, like, daily almost videos of just mobs of Somalians beating the crap out of little white kids. What's it going to take? I mean, again, I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't. I moved my family out of there. But what is it going to take for Fargoans, for native North Dakotans, and native Minnesotans for that matter, to stand up and go, you know what? I'm kind of sick of this crap. What is it going to take for that? I want to be there for that moment because I have not seen it. Like I look at that mom, and we're going to play that video here in a minute. I don't know why I put it in the tail end of the show, probably so I can work on my blood pressure coming down. But I'm looking at that mom, and she's like this close from crying. And I'm not saying that the white kid was an angel, because obviously he there's some issues there, because apparently the whole fight, and this is a whole nother issue, the entire thing started at school some days prior over a vape, a VAPE, a thing that they're not even supposed to have in school. So this argument started at school. They caught this kid at the mall because his mom told him, you got to get out of the house. And I also wonder where this kid's dad is because I only saw her. But we're gonna talk about that right now. I think I'm gonna go to a commercial break. I'm gonna calm myself down for a second. Fargo, North Dakotans in general, we got to do better. You got to do better. And I'm gonna go Leon Francis, BlackBeardLogic, Guns in the 701. We'll be right back right after this break.
Hey, it's Leon Francis from BlackBeardLogic on the Guns in the 701 network. I'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. Stay tuned.
When you want it done right,
go where lemons go.
Kalen's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalen and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just one block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemon, Kalen's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Come on, no.
Welcome back. It's Leon Francis with BlackBeardLogic on the Guns and the 701 network. Let's get it.
Okay, let's go.
I am Leon Francis of BlackBeardLogic on the Guns and the 701 network. Let's get it. Let's get it indeed. All right, so I think I'm going to put that one to bed. That just it gets. I get upset about this because I can clearly see what the problem is, and I know that there are good people in Fargo, and a lot of those good people are less safe because of people like this. Because of the police chief, because of the Fargo City Commission, because of their, apparently, the Cass County State's Attorney, because of all of these liberals that are in positions of power. And we wonder why society is backsliding. Like, well, I beat that dead horse. I'm just gonna let it lie for a second. So what we're gonna talk about now is, let's do this. Let's pull it out, 3,000-foot view. Let's talk about everybody was all wee-weed up over the Epstein thing. But what about this? I want to get your take on this. And this is Nancy Mace. She's hot and cold. Like sometimes I'm like, yeah. That thing that she just said. And then sometimes I'm like, oh. But right now, let's listen to something that I 100% agree with. Right here.
The China show. I don't mean to call you a bull, but like that's what you've been doing with the Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton testimony. It's been incredible. Now this sexual assault vote has been humiliating, frankly, for Congress. You're just on a, you're on a war path, Congress.
You're on a war path, Benny, and nothing is going to stop me. And in fact, on that shameful vote on the floor, and thank you to Lauren Boebert, Tim Burchett, and Anna Paulina Luna for having my back on that. But both Republican and Democrat leadership whipped the vote against disclosure of sexual harassment files by members of Congress. So the two-tiered system of justice, you know, the rich and powerful and politically connected, there's a tier for them, which is skate away, just like Epstein. And then, you know, there's a justice system for everybody else. You would never be able to get away with that in the private sector or in the rest of America or in middle America. You'd be fired. You'd be excommunicated. You'd be, shamed out of your community, your church, whatever. But, you know, in Congress, just sweep everything under the rug, hide it. And I don't want to hear a word from any of those members of Congress, right or left, that voted to hide sexual harassment files. I don't want to hear Jeffrey Epstein's name come out of their mouth. They don't get to.
Now, everything that she's saying is spot on. Everything. And this is a fight that has been ongoing for some years. Because I remember this fight coming up like when I was still in Fargo, as a matter of fact. My black beard's going to turn gray. It's getting there, man. There's a ton of gray in here. But the fact of the matter is, and I had a post on social media, and folks were like, why don't we just do a FOIA request? Well, you can't, because Congress exempted themselves from FOIAs, so you can't even do that. Like, these guys are the slimiest of the slimy. And the thing that gets me is, these are the people that we elected to represent us. So what did we see in them that made us go, yeah, that's the guy? Because that's a problem. The fact of the matter is, millions of dollars of hush money goes to Washington, so they don't have to pay out of pocket for all the sexual harassment that they do. We do. We pay for it. Here, let's listen a little more here.
They don't get a say anymore.
Such a great point. I wish you'd forced this vote earlier in the last summer, frankly, to just prove what frauds all these people are. Can you talk me through this and our audience through this? As I understand it, there is a special slush fund in Congress that is funded, of course, by the taxpayers, not by the members of Congress, right? That pays out, I don't know, at least millions of dollars for sexual harassment claims to get people to go away. It's all done under the table. No, the public never hears about it. And a lot of these claims are very legitimate. I think we have like members of Congress die every once in a while. And then you find out these grotesque stories about them. Who was?
Think about that. You only and the media is very, very good at memory holding this stuff. Like, for the life of me, the North Dakotan bigwig, and there's a ton of them, but the guy that would go like overseas specifically to have sex with children, that guy, and he's been doing it for, I don't know, longer than I've been sucking air. And you're telling me that nobody knew, none of his friends knew? Yeah, I think a ton of people knew. Some of those people died. But the fact of the matter is, in these consolidated places of power, like Bismarck, like Washington, there are some pretty disgusting people. And those disgusting people are the people that you and I pay our tax dollars to. And they want more of your tax dollars. Meanwhile, tons of kids are taken. And it seems to me that the Trump administration is the only one that has ever gave two craps about all these kids. Not to mention their sexual perverts in Washington. And we pay hush money to keep everything down. And then you have to have a complicit media, because it would just blow my mind that no one in the media knows anything about any of this stuff. That's not a thing. The media right here in North Dakota. You think they didn't know about Holmberg? I'm sorry. You think they didn't know? You think, again, when I was doing my radio show way back when, I took a huge break, I don't know, 10, 15 years. I took a break from doing all that. But even way back then, people were telling me things that were going on in Bismarck, and I did not believe them. They were so bad. They were that bad. And I'm like, well, this person is crazy. There's no way that kind of thing is going on. Yeah. Yep. 100% true. And then I have friends who are state senators and representatives, and they tell me things that I can't just come out and say names or anything like that, because I don't want to get anybody in any trouble, except for the people that are committing these horrible acts. Some of them have been held accountable. I think the folks at the higher end of the tier, I don't think they do, though. As a matter of fact, I know they don't. And I know some of the gatekeepers of power, I think they need to be held accountable. I think one of the primary reasons everyone clamors for gun control is because one day, people are going to be like, you know what? I've had just about enough of this. But that's neither here nor there. And I'm going to take a step back from that, and we'll listen to the rest of this.
The member of Congress that just died, and he was like, he was like wandering around with his pants off, like in his office.
Who was that?
Yeah, no, I had my memory, but yeah, we're finding that you find it out when they die.
Yep.
Yeah,
but they're like, I mean, this is a sick system.
Yeah, I found out one a couple years ago wanted to impregnate his female employees, like not by injection or something, right? Or IVF, but literally wanted to have sex with his staff and impregnate them. And we voted to hide those files. What are you even talking about, right? And so it's actually two parts. So the first part is exposing the claims of sexual harassment by members of Congress. Was step one through the ethics committee, and it just got hidden yesterday, that vote. I did a separate vote or a subpoena for information on the slush funds on the oversight committee, because that was the only way to really get at it. And we did that yesterday. A lot of members, mostly Republican, by the way, tried to stop that vote from passing by just making up excuses and that sort of thing. But it did pass. And so we will at least get the financial information via subpoena from the Workplace Rights Office up until 2018. After 2018, the law changed where members, if they are caught sexually harassing somebody else, they have to personally pay back the fund. But generally speaking, almost every member who's had to do that has retired or quit Congress, so that the information doesn't get out and that there's never any conclusion.
So how does that grab you? So when especially last election cycle, when you got all these people that are saying, hey, I'm just going to quietly retire. How does that grab you? When they retire, then case is closed, nobody's looking anymore, they don't have to pay that money back, that sort of thing. And it just kind of quietly goes, are you kidding me? And so you're asking yourself, God, Democrats are horrible, right? Nope. I mean, obviously they are, but the Republicans teamed up there was only 67 people, and even that was bipartisan, that said, no, we need to have transparency on this. How did our North Dakota representative, how did she fare? Well, she's another awful. So there she is in all of her splendor there, red eyes, but she voted against transparency. Yeah, Julie Fedorchak. voted against holding these idiots accountable. There she is, North Dakota. We could have had Rick Becker. I mean, oh my God! But instead, this is who we got right here, and I wonder what she knows. And the votes were whipped. Like her bosses told her how to vote. Democrats and Republicans alike whipped their people into voting against this thing. Like 350 some odd, I forget the exact number, and I have it somewhere here. They were whipped into voting against transparency. In North Dakota, this is us right here. This is our representative who said no to transparency, to just sexual deviance and the hush money that's being paid to keep it all quiet. She said, no, I don't want that stuff out in the open. I want to protect these predators. That's what she said. I'm going to leave her picture up there for a second or two. So just so it can sink into your brain. This is our representative. The person that represents North Dakota said, I want to keep all of these sexual perverts and all of their escapades. I want to keep that quiet. That's what she said to us. And she voted in our name against transparency. She voted in our name. How's that grab you? Yeah. Let's finish this up.
That then can be sought after or released. And so the files will go up to 2018, and we're talking about in some years $3, $4, $5 million a year. Now, out of that slush fund, it's not just members of Congress. There are government employees, federal employees at the Capitol who have been forced to pay out. The government's been forced to pay out those funds as well. So it's not just like members of Congress. Others have been as well that are federally employed up here on the Hill. But I made a special point to redact the names of victims and witnesses and that sort of thing. And it almost didn't pass yesterday, but we got it through.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What's I mean, like, what does it say to the American people? You know, when there is this kind of slush fund, and when so many members of Congress, I know that the vote wasn't particularly close. It's kind of like extremely sad, but I know that there were hundreds and hundreds of members of Congress that voted against releasing the information here about the private sexual harassment slush fund.
Over 300.
Yeah.
Hundreds.
What does that say to the American people? Exactly.
Well, number one, it's shameful. Number two, it tells you, the American people, that Congress is full of it. Third, it tells you that there is a two-tiered system of justice, one for the elite, politically connected, and one for everybody else. And that's wrong. Like, the sunshine is the best medicine. It's the best disinfectant. I'm here to turn the lights on.
And think about what she just said. I remember some time ago where if you were a red-blooded, testosterone-filled male, college age, and you were going to school, the one thing that you had to be absolutely crystal clear on is how you approached the fairer sex, because you could be Me Too'd. These boys, and there were tons of false Me Tooing, but they had their lives drugged through the mud, the muck, and the mire. Even at NDSU, I think a couple even at UND, as a matter of fact. Yet, the higher up you climb, apparently, the more forgiving we are of your crime. Like those boys that got Me Too'd, their lives, especially their collegiate life, destroyed. Completely gone. But these guys in Congress, these guys in Washington, these guys in Bismarck, even some guys in, like, and if it's this way in Fargo, I guarantee you it's that times 1,000 in places like Minneapolis. I've heard stories out of Grand Forks. I've heard stories out of Bismarck and Minot. And again, I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but we got to get a handle on this. Like I'm thinking, I'm 50 years old. I'm raising Eli to be, he's going to be a leader. And this is what he's going to walk into. Like, he's good kid. And I know, like, tons of really good kids. But I don't think I want him anywhere near politics. And that's not a good thing. Because we need people like my son and the Johnston's kids. And so many kids that I know who are basically homeschooled, good Christian family, farmer, rancher, a couple of IT folks now that I've met. Really good salt of the earth people. And you don't want them anywhere near there. I know representatives that when they go to Bismarck and they physically get headaches because it's so toxic. Again, not going to say any names, but like that's a hell of an environment. And again, these people are representing us. Do you understand what that means? These people are representing Leon Francis and Charlene Nelson and David Fettig and One Shot Cap. Like, these people are representing us. There's got to be a come to Jesus moment. And it's got to be, it does not seem to me that we have the moral fortitude or testicular fortitude. This next story, after we come back from break, I'll show you another one that just kind of blows my mind. It just kind of, like, how is this a thing? And we're going to hit that on the other side of this break. I'm Leon Francis, your host of BlackBeardLogic on the Guns and the 701 Network. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Leon Francis from BlackBeardLogic on the Guns and the 701 Network. I'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. Stay tuned.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
I am Leon Francis, and this is BlackBeardLogic on the Guns and the 701 Network. Let's get it.
Let's get it, folks. Yeah, so calm down a little bit. Got a little water in me right now. Subject matter is still very, very serious. Like, way back when I had a baby face and no beard, I thought, like I was a poli-sci guy. Like I got into the whole IT thing later. Like I got my MCSE with Win2K. So yeah, in Kansas City. So that was in 2000. So yeah, and it was after I'd come to Fargo, kind of dabbled in politics and radio and that sort of thing. Left, did the whole IT thing, and now, like, I thought it was bad back then, but now I'm saying, like, this thing is getting progressively worse. Like they've been able to basically capture the mainstream media and kind of make us believe that it's not as bad as it is. It is, folks. It is. When you look across the country and you look at what's happening to this country, we're fast approaching a cliff. Fast approaching. When you see the sheer amount of replacement citizens that they've been bringing over here, that they're preparing, you know, the liberties that you and I enjoyed in our youth. I think they're going to slowly erode those away. And I think that's the entire reason behind importing the third world. And they don't give a damn about your safety. They don't. When you notice the crime, you're the bad guy. When you notice the things that are wrong, you're the bad guy. You're the bigot. Like, again, it blows my mind that a city prosecutor, that a prosecutor could be in any way a fan of those folks that I showed you guys. That blows my mind. I'm black and I'm turned off completely by that message. By the message that America is built on white supremacy from its conception all the way up till now. To me, what that does is all of the sacrifices that my ancestors made, all of the sacrifices that your ancestors made for truth and unity and fairness and equality and all, it just goes out of the window. All of those white boys that died in the Civil War, all of their sacrifice is for nothing because the whole thing is white supremacy. Like it to me, all of that is garbage. All of it. For a prosecutor to be a fan of a group that is anti-ICE blows my mind. Blows my mind. So the next clip, we're going to just kind of stick with Nancy Mace because she's been batting 1,000 for this week anyway. So I'm gonna play this now. Everyone knows that one of my most favorite people on the planet is Ilhan Omar, right? Right. Yeah. Here, let me. Yeah, there you go. So, like, and folks like me have been clamoring for quite some time to dig down into her background because we all know that there are nefarious facts there. We know it. Like, I can't tell you how many podcasts and radio shows I've done where I have enumerated all of the things in her background, up to and including her going from $50,000 net worth to $30 million. But that's neither here nor there. Her whole background coming over here. Is her last name even Omar? Like, all of these are valid questions, and no one is taking them seriously. And then Nancy Mace steps up, and this happens.
Investigation into Ilhan Omar. Obviously, there's some, questions regarding her citizenship. She's been referred to the ethics committee. Can we trust the ethics committee to actually be ethical and do the right thing?
Well, what's happened so far? Like, really, I think the remark is always let the process play out. right? That's what they always say, and nothing never happens. I tried to subpoena her immigration records, her brother husband's immigration records, and it was Republicans that killed my motion.
Yeah, and what's going on with that? Do you have any more insight you can share on that front?
As far as I know, nothing's going on, and nothing will go on. And that's Congress for you, because both sides protect the other.
So I wanted you to hear that. Did you hear what she said? She says Republicans blocked that. Republicans. They give us dog and pony shows. Like, we'll see all these congressional hearings and they're grilling like Tim Walz and yada, yada, yada. But who's doing anything about it? And so Nancy Mace attempted to subpoena her immigration records because what we have is from reporters, just grassroots guys, like digging through the files. They don't have the power. They don't have the authority to go in there and just get all the information and post it and say, hey, here it is. She does. So she subpoenaed the information, and Republicans blocked her. I got a theory. There are Republicans with very shady things in their background. Very shady things. And you just don't shake particular trees. Like, I look at someone like Ilhan Omar. I don't see a smart person. I don't. But when I look at Cortez, I also, Cori Bush, no. And you wonder how these people get in these positions of power. And I think it doesn't have anything to do with, their intellect, their IQ points, clearly. It has everything to do with their usability. And you got to think, $9 billion stolen in Minneapolis. It might even be more than that. I don't know. But you got to think, that's a lot of money. Where's all that money? I mean, I know they snatched up a couple of tiny fish. Tiny fish. I don't believe that they have even accounted for I'm gonna say $700 million. Let's just do that. $800 million. Let's do that. Let's say they accounted for $800 million with the prosecutions that they had. And I don't believe that it's that big, but let's just say, where's the rest of that money? Where's the rest of that money? There are palms being greased. And she is a link in that chain. Ilhan Omar and the Tim Walzes and the Jacob Freys. That's why you can't touch her. No. It's why even Republicans are saying no. And I want to know, which Republicans said no to this. Because that's still a mystery to me. What Republican said, well, no, I don't want to know if she lied. I don't want to know if Donald Trump wants her out of here. Because there is a ton of credible info that says she's not even in this country legally. And she committed immigration fraud, not just once, but several times with several members of her family. Yet she's untouchable. And you and I, we worry about revenuers when we're driving home make sure we're on time for our podcast. Like, we're worried about, like with me and taxes and whatnot. My wife worries that I don't itemize and I don't do this because you don't want to audit and you don't want this and that. These people, they have no such qualms. They have no such trepidations because their lies are so big. Their grift is so big that they are too big to fail. And so the system protects them, insulates them. $9 billion. That's a hell of an insulator, if you catch my drift. So, that's Representative Nancy Mace. And again, like, I'm not always a fan, but this week, she's been batting 1,000. And sadly, our guys, I don't know what's going on, man. Again, here, I'm going to give you this again, show you that, again, that this is our guy right here. That's our guy. What are we doing? What are we... All right, I'm going to walk. I'm just going to take a couple steps back. Let's go. You know what? Let's just go back over to Fargo for a second here. So, just to set this up, this is the Fargo City Commission meeting. The only sane person up there appears to be Michelle Turnberg. Hoping Tony gets in there. Hoping they get the ward system and all of that. I am optimistic. Do I want to be optimistic? I don't want to be let down yet again. But I also saw from my friends at Fargo First that a new guy has thrown his hat into the arena. So I'm going to do a little digging, just to make sure. Because again, everything that I heard about Kim, was great. Until I just nominal dig. Like, I'm not an investigator. And I could see the breadcrumbs. And then that interview, forget about it, But anyway, this is the Fargo City Commission. The Human Rights Commission, because that's a thing that's needed in Fargo, North Dakota. Human Rights Coalition. I think the head of this thing called the mayor a coward, and like he was thinking at one time of throwing his hat into the mayoral race. I don't know how that's going. I got to check that out. But there was some backlash because I was one of the backlashers. But so let's play this.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
Well, good evening and thank you for joining us on Valley News Live at 10. I'm Bobby Fallett. The Fargo Human Rights Commission bought itself some time Monday night, but not everyone is convinced that it was the right call. Tonight, the commissioner who voted no isn't staying quiet, and the board's own liaison is responding. Valley News Team's Ethan Kramer has reaction in our top story.
So to me, we're just kicking the can down the road.
Monday night, the Fargo City Commission gave the Human Rights Commission a second chance, 60 days.
Now, this is important, and this is important because this is coming off of a 60-day. So they asked these guys, and this is my interpretation of it. 2 months ago, they said, hey, because Fargo is facing $1 billion shortfall. It's more than $1 billion, but I'm just going to $1 billion shortfall. And so they got to make some cuts. And so you got a lot of dead weight. A lot of the dead weight is a bunch of these commissions that they're setting up. So I think there's like a Native American one and an arts and crafts one, and this one, the Human Rights Commission. And so they gave them 2 months to say, hey, tell us why you're important. And for 2 solid, if my listeners here, my viewers here, were to tell me, Leon, we're going to give you a day to tell us why you're relevant or you're important, I could tell you in 20 minutes. Like, I wouldn't need a whole. These chuckle nuts had 2 full months. 2 months to say, this is what we do. And they couldn't do it. They couldn't tell them, hey, we're important because, and in my mind, that means you're not friggin' important. Like, there's nothing about you that is essential. That you need, you are dead weight. You need to be cut off. That's what my brain, if I am on the city commission, I would have been with Michelle and saying, well, absolutely not. I mean, you had 2 months. 2 months, folks. 2 months. I'm going to let it play.
The plan, make its case, and prove it belongs. Back in January, the commission gave 3 volunteer boards 2 months to reinvent themselves or shut down. The Human Rights Commission showed up, held meetings, did the work, but when the deadline arrived...
Okay, I'd like to know what work. Like this reporter said, they showed up, they did the work. What work? What work did you do? And if you did the work, just show your work. So I don't agree with that. Like, even this reporter is putting a little spin on this thing. Here we go.
Have the answers.
When I met with the Human Rights Commission, 2 representatives, and I asked them, what is your objective or your mission? They couldn't even answer that. To me, this is not a...
Did you hear that? I'm going to run that back. I'm going to run this back. This is Michelle Turnberg, the only voice of reason in that entire stinking cabal.
Work, but when the deadline arrived, they still didn't have the answers.
When I met with the Human Rights Commission, 2 representatives, and I asked them, what is your objective or your mission? They couldn't even answer that. To me, this is not a purposeful commission or board.
Turnberg also pointed to the city's bottom line.
Guys, look at her face. I gotta go back to this. Come on. Let me scrub it there. Look at her face.
The board.
Look at that. That's the face my mom used to give me when I was running her a line of BS. That face right there. Look at that thing. If you have a mom, you know this face. This is the BS detection face, right? This is the face you got right before you got the wooden spoon, or hey, go pick me a switch off the tree. That's the look you get right there. Like, she is like, what are we doing here? Like, what are you even? Yeah, that's insane.
Also pointed to the city's bottom line, arguing boards that aren't core city services and pull staff away from their duties need to be re-examined.
When we're looking at a budget deficit of $1.3 billion, we need to trim. And so if it's not a core city service and it's taking city staff away from their duties, then we need to look at that and make some changes.
But not everyone agreed with the urgency.
So this is one of the problems. This is John Strand, flaming homosexual, huge liberal. This is one of the problems right here.
Said the board simply ran out of time and that forcing a decision now wasn't necessary.
We weren't able to get there in time, and
dude had 2 months. And I'm using the term dude very loosely. But I don't care. Anyway, they had 2 months. And do you hear his attitude? His attitude is, it's not that big a deal. They are $1.3 billion in the hole. And it's not that big a deal, guys. What are you guys all upset about? It's only $1.3 billion. This is Fargo, North Dakota, man. Fargo, North Dakota. And the city is $1.3 billion in the hole. what are we getting all wee-weed up about? It's not that big a deal because John friggin' Strand said it's not that big a deal. Here we go.
And, there's also not that urgent of a hurry that we have to drop the gauntlet and decide now or nothing.
The vote also came with some notable position shifts. Commissioner Dave Pepcorn, who had previously supported dissolving the commissions outright, reversed course and voted yes. Deputy Mayor.
Now, that's significant. He's running for mayor. Got to get that minority vote. Got to pander for that minority vote. And that's what he did. I don't like that. I do not like. I respect the hell out of Michelle Turnberg for sticking to her guns and having more testicular fortitude than Pepcorn. And I used to be really good friends with Dave. I still am. I mean, I like the guy. He's all right. But I don't like this. I do not like pandering. I don't. And that is the only reason that he's doing this. The only reason that his vote flipped from 2 months ago, and again, folks, they had 2 months. They're going to get damn near half a year to figure out why they are important enough to keep. How is this a thing? Anyone else would get 5 minutes to explain. Yeah, I've been neglecting the chat over here. I'm sorry, guys, but this is, to me, this is a strike against Pepcorn. Like, I don't like that. I don't like pandering. Just, you tell me. Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. Don't do that. I'm going to know it's pee, and you'll probably get punched in the friggin' face. But that's neither here nor there. I see my wife looking at me the same way Michelle Turnberg were looking at these chuckle nuts. So I'm just going to let this play out.
Deputy Mayor Denise Kolpak initially proposed an amendment that would have fast-tracked the deadline, said she wouldn't support the extension, then ultimately voted for it. Both Pepcorn and Kolpak are running for mayor.
I think funny things can happen during a political season. Absolutely.
Strand says the extension is about giving the commission a real chance to define its role.
It needs permission to be a voice.
Now, listen to that. That is liberal speak. It needs permission to be a voice or to fight. I can't follow that line of logic. I used to have a soundbite that said, everything that guy said is BS. Danny DeVito, what's the name of that show, Nick? Danny DeVito is the lawyer. Yeah, my cousin Benny. Yeah, that's it. But everything is like, nothing he just said made any sense at all to a rational brain with a modicum of common sense God gave a grasshopper. They need time to find their voice. Are you kidding me? 2 months. 2 months. If you cannot find your voice in 2 months, your voice packed up and left you. There is a Dear John letter sitting on your nightstand from your voice because it's gone. Oh my God. This guy, and I don't understand I do, because there's a lot of liberals in Fargo proper. But again, the fact that this guy is in a position of power, this guy sits on the health care, whatever it is. He's one of the reasons why you got the harm reduction and the mask and all of the craziness that comes with the whole medical thing. There in Fargo. This guy is instrumental in all of that. What are his credentials? He's a homosexual. He used to own, and I think he still does own, the most liberal rag probably in North Dakota, High Plains Reader. And just a kicker, way back in the day when I was making political hay, he used to be a friend of mine. And then, you find out certain things and you're just like, hey, man. Anyway, here we go.
And that has to be authentic and legitimate.
The Human Rights Commission has until May to come up with a plan. In Fargo, Ethan Kramer.
So again, folks, like I look at that, and again, I can see clearly why Fargo is Fargo. I can see clearly. Like I understand why what's that chick's name? Came from Chicago, fleeced North Dakota. What's her name? Faith. I completely see why that liberal idiot, Black Lives Matter, came here, and she's not an idiot. That's the thing. Like I'm using that word, but Faith wasn't an idiot. What she did was she saw a bunch of self-hating white people that would throw money at her, and so she came, and she like I don't understand. Like part of me is like, dude, you could have cashed in. Like I could have just been a liberal loudmouth. Do you have any like Faith and her husband? They got upwards of $1 million out of North Dakota liberals. And I think about that, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? So they're not the idiots. And the thing that just cheeses my grits is there's a lot of good people in Fargo. And those good people are the people that are being fleeced. Like this money, this isn't John Strand going into his pocket and paying this Fargo commission. It's not the liberals that allowed Faith and her husband and her kinfolk to steal all that money. It wasn't their money. It was your money, which is why they can be so loose and flippant with it. Like this Kim lady, I don't know if she has kids, but it's not her kids that are getting beat up at West Acres Mall. Her kids they're not going to have to hobnob with those dirty immigrants, but they will flood your community with those immigrants, knowing the violence, knowing the propensity for, well, not just the propensity, knowing that the cultures don't mesh. They're not compatible. These people know that. But they sit in their ivory towers and never have to deal with the consequences of their actions. Like Kim is talking about restorative justice and all of that garbage and sending criminals back out onto the street where you have to deal with them. You think she lives on NP Avenue? Or one of the old neighborhoods in North Fargo? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You think, and again, I don't know if she has kids, but you think that one of her kids are going to get beat up like this clip I'm going to play here in a bit? Nah, that's not going to happen. Not to her kid. Might happen to yours, though. And that's the problem. Feel-good policies only work in a liberal think tank at Berkeley. They do not work in the real world. When liberal policies meet the real world, real people get hurt. And that's what we're seeing. In that interview with Jay Thomas, people were calling in concerned about the whole needles, like needles in parks and downtown, and she made a comment that basically that doesn't happen, and there is research that says yada yada yada, and she went on this big flowery explanation of all the studies that had been done, saying that it gives society more help than harm, and blah blah. And I'm thinking, the only thing I could think of is these chuckle nuts gave out over 1 million needles. Over 1 million needles. And they only got like 70% of those needles back. Meaning 30% of those needles are out in the wind. And she doesn't think that's a problem. And this is Fargo, North Dakota. This isn't Minneapolis. This isn't San Francisco. This is Fargo, North Dakota. That's a lot of flipping needles. Where's the common sense? There's not a ton of it. We're going to go to this next video right after I hit this next break. Leon Francis. I'm a little irritated tonight. I don't know why. Maybe my hat's on a little tight. But I'm a little irritated. And before I go to break, I wasn't planning on talking about this. I was planning on doing a little more research on it. But like I think about liberal policies. I think about like what happened in the last administration. I think about all the kids. I follow Tim Tebow, and I have for quite some time because he's pro-life, and I'm pro-life. I even met him once. And I see that he's pushing Congress for a bill to help go after, and if you're following North Dakota news at all, there's a ton of child predators here. A ton of them. It seems like every other day they're catching one. The problem with that is that's less than like a percentage of 1% of them that are out there. And despite Trump's best efforts, and they have been great, there are a lot of kids out there that are missing. And if you haven't seen Tim Tebow's presentation to Congress, where he has the map of the United States, and he shows you all of the red dots that show active IPs that are child predators. The ones in the red are the ones that are not being investigated. The ones in the blue, and until he tells you that there are blue ones in there, you don't even see them. That's how few there are. That kind of thing gets a brother a little upset. Again, I'm a black guy. I don't know if you can see that. I know what liberal policies do, not just to a community, but to a culture, an entire culture. This is what white liberals do. They infect a healthy social culture, a healthy society, and degrade it. And the only thing that they have to show for it is some flowery words like John Strand. Find their voice. That's the only thing they have to show for it. And if you are a rational, thinking person, your response is like the first guy that I played, the caller from Jay Thomas, where he said, I've been listening to this, and I can't believe what I'm hearing. I've heard her talk about restorative justice and the needle program. She hasn't said a word about protecting my family. And granted, after that caller called in, she started talking a little bit about, how tough on crime they were. But up till that point, no. So you got to ask yourself, when you're voting, if you're listening to me, and even if you're not in Fargo, even if you're, thousands of miles away from Fargo, you got to ask yourself, especially if you have kids, what type of society are you leaving for them when you go out and you vote for a liberal or a progressive or an awful? And I got news for you. Awfuls come with an R. They're not just Democrats. There are a ton of Republican awfuls. And I'll be right back right after this break.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right, go where lemons go. Kalen's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalen and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just one block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemon. Kalen's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
For the best gun gear for every and any situation, Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul's, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton Lasercraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient.
Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more.
Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where memories are engraved.
Welcome back. I am Leon Francis, your host for BlackBeardLogic. A little irritated tonight. This is the Guns and the 701 Network. Make sure on Sunday you tune in 8 o'clock for my buddy Vance Bishop. He has the Sunday Sportsman segment. He normally keeps it right around between like 30 minutes, and I think the longest I've ever seen him go is like 45 minutes. But really good. Like if you're a guy like me, and when I first met Vance, I told him, and this is how I am. I don't like the pleated khaki and sweater vest type preacher. I'm not that guy. I need like calluses and Carhartts. That's how I like. I like a bunch of like-minded brothers in Christ that wear some flannel, wear a little trucker hat or something. Have these calluses from pulling their bows, and that trigger finger callus right there. That we can go out and legitimately go out, do a bunch of ammo dumps, sit around the campfire, crack a cold one, and not proselytize so much as in everything that we do. You should see Christ in there. Even if it's rough, like some people might say, I'm a little rough around the edges. How can you be Christian? And and I don't see anything wrong with being rough, with being callous, and also being godly. I think we need those men. I think without those men, evil just runs roughshod. Because evil doesn't care how nice you are to them. And I don't even know how I got on this topic. Oh, I was talking about Vance. So, Vance is that guy. He's that guy who has had a life. Let's just say it. He's had a rough life. And through that rough life, he found Christ. And he talks about it. Sunday mornings, 8 o'clock. You should check him out. and obviously you got Clay on, I think he's still doing Thursday for a couple more turns here. Tuesday, I'll be with my buddies on the Due North Due North podcast, political podcast. So make sure you check that out. Thanks, Lynette. Ask anyone else would get 5 minutes to explain why they have a job, and if 100%, like in no scenario, if I do subcontract out like IT guys I do a lot of like setting up networks, and when you do that, like I have been on job sites, like I'll just use this one, Les Schwab in Fargo. I did the 2 in Fargo, the 1 in Grand Forks. And it's like, I don't know, 1,000 cable runs. I'm good. But my God, I can't. If you gave me enough time, I could probably pull 1,000. And then terminate them end to end, and then wrap them all up, and then throw them in the network rack and all. Sometimes you gotta get a little help. So I do. If I subcontract some guys, and I don't see the value in them, they're standing around, they're twiddling their thumbs, and then I ask them, hey, why should I keep you on this job? And then they tell me, can you give me a little time to think about it? You're gone. No, you're not getting a check. No, I'm not paying you for today. You're lucky to get out of here without lumps on your head. Kick rocks. I don't even understand how this is a thing. They were given 2 months, guys. 2 months. Just to say, what is your purpose? Why are you here? And for 2 months, they got nothing. So you're going to give them 2 more months so they can find their voice? They need to find the Dear John letter that their voice left when it packed its bags and took out the front door. Anyway, I'm done with that. Now let's go here. Now, when I play this,
take a look at your screen here.
Hang on. When I play this, I want you to think about your kid. Like if you got, and again, not just your kid, your wife. Anyone that's not like a Jamie or Doug or me or One Shot or, somebody like that. Like if I'm anywhere near this, I'm stopping it immediately. But my wife and I, we watched this, and I told her, because in the social media, you had all these women saying, "Oh, I would have got out. I would have done this." Don't do that. Do not. If you are a female, get out and engage these idiots. Because like I told my wife, I'd probably leave my gun in the truck, and I would expect to take some licks. I mean, I'd have this in hand pretty quick, but I expect to get hit. And if you are a female, you do not need to engage these people. Even if you see a scenario like this, and that kid is on the ground, and do not engage him. But I want you to think, what would go through your mind if you saw this video and that was your kid down there? And then you heard the city prosecutor talk about restorative justice. Tell me how you would feel about that. Here we go.
Watching a video taken outside West Acres Mall of a 16-year-old boy getting assaulted. This video was taken February 28th, right outside Chili's. 3 teens can be seen punching and kicking.
A point of clarity, I sped this up in the interest of time. So it seems like she's talking fast and they're like swinging really fast. They are swinging. She is talking fast, but I sped it up for time. It was like 4 minutes. I got it down to like 2.
Year-old before running away. According to family, this fight started inside a store in the mall. They're speaking out now, disappointed that mall security and other bystanders did not intervene. They spoke to Valley News teams and
now, this is a point I really want to hone in on. Mall security. It's not mall security. I've run cable in this mall. I've set up networks in several of these stores, and some of it is after hours. The times that I were in there after hours, the security guards that were in there were Muslim women. I am not lying to you. They were Muslim women with their headgear on and the security uniform. And had I wanted to, had I been a bad guy, there is nothing they could do had I wanted to do something nefarious. Absolutely nothing. That is the security that you're dealing with. I've also been in there, and I've seen these basically little boys, and they have a radio, basically. They're not... I was telling my wife, if I owned this security company, I'd have a couple of women on staff just because if there's a disturbance there and you have to detain a woman, you want a female there. But the rest of them would be big, hard-hitting, granite-chinned guys. And I have it on very good authority that some of the security that was there were watching. They didn't want to get involved. And I don't blame them. They're not cut out for it. I've seen them, you know. And I'm going to let this play a little bit, but like the mom is there and you can see she's clearly distraught. I don't think there's a father in this picture because I haven't heard anything from him. And she basically forced this kid to get out of the house because she thought, you know, he was spending too much time at the house. Guys, I am not like bashing this mom. If she's a single mom, you know, I could only imagine a big teenage boy. And this kid he's a pretty big kid. But if you got all these kids on you, you need a little help. You know, or you need some jiu-jitsu, or you need some mat time, or some time. And if she's a single mom, moms don't think that way. Dads think that way. Like again, a lot of you guys have met Eli. Eli knows how to shoot. He knows how to use a bow and arrow, firearms. His brother, who took second in Iowa in mixed martial arts, has been teaching him I teach him. So the chances of him, like, I think that if Eli is, in this situation and same or similar age as these kids, he can handle himself. This kid clearly could not. He's overweight, single mom. I don't know. I feel badly for this kid. Had I seen this, and granted, this all started, like this reporter, and I don't remember if she mentions this later, but this started at school over a vape pen at school several days prior. And so they catch this kid at the mall and they just mob attack him. And as you can clearly see, these aren't white kids. And I'm no stranger to this, so I'm just going to say it. I have had issues with this element in Fargo for quite some time. I know for a fact that in many of the schools, especially the ones that are inner city, mid city, Fargo, they have a problem with violence from the students, even to the staff, even to teachers. I know teachers that retired because they did not want to deal with the level of violence coming from these kids. And these kids are not Fargoans. I just want to, I want you to understand this. I want you to understand what I'm saying as a black man. These kids are not products of North Dakota. These kids are products of some ghetto somewhere. And like looking at them, I can't tell physically, but I'd almost guarantee that they're probably like Haitian or Somalian or some. This is what white, self-hating, liberal, progressive thinking gets you. The things that people want to say to keep their kids safe would be considered bigoted simply because of the skin color of the complainant. And all you have to do is go on social media and look at the comments. Like, I have no problem calling this out. None. I recognize the behavior. Had I been there, I don't care if you're a teenager. I see you doing this, you're going to go home with lumps. Guaranteed. This is sad. But if you live in Fargo, remember, your police chief said that this level of violence is okay for a town this size. That's what he said. Fargo is safe and getting safer. Restorative justice, y'all. That's what you need. I'm going to let this play.
Weber as they push for charges and warn other parents about teen safety.
6 versus 1. This video was taken on February 28th, right outside the West Acres Mall. The 16-year-old boy on the ground was dropped off by his mom for a day of shopping.
I told him he can't just be sitting at home all the time. And he was attacked here.
Attacked. 3 teens can be seen punching and kicking the boy before running away. He was hurt, but did not receive...
It looked like he had that one guy in the white down. So maybe he does have some scrap in him.
Serious injuries. According to his mom, all of the teens go to the same high school. The fight stemmed over a vape and first escalated inside a store.
There had to have been an adult that seen it. Had to have seen the argument starting. That should have been the first point of contact to get a hold of mall security.
She says neither.
No. Just no. If you're listening to me, do not put your faith in mall security. Trust me, I've seen these guys and gals. And while I have nothing against them, I protect my family. And given the element that hangs out at West Acres now, like I heard Scott Hannon say, and again, I'm not bashing Scott. Scott's a friend, but I heard him say that, he doesn't really gravitate toward downtown. He just goes to West Acres, and every time I'm ever in there, I see this element. Every single time. I'm armed, though. Like, right on the doors of West Acres, it says this is a gun-free zone. It is until I open that door. And I'm just going to... But again, you see this element. You know what this element is. And what are we doing about it? In the name of not offending people, certain cultures, we allow this. And it makes our children less safe. It makes our women less safe. And Lynette, I understand. I don't think it would get too far, though. I don't think that suing them is. I don't think the mom's going to get anywhere with that. I mean, maybe suing the security company because they are these people are clearly not up to the job. I don't know how much that security company is getting paid, and I could tell you other stories of other places that employ this mall security. But the stories that I have, I can't tell them because some of these people still work in those places, and they'll know. They'll know. It'll get back to them. But again, if I'm West Acres and I see something like this happen, I'm pulling that security company, I'm pulling them in, and I'm going, what the hell? What are you guys doing? No, you're fired. I'd try to find some off-duty police officers to police the place until I could find a better security. I'm just saying this, and I don't give a damn if it gets back to West Acres or the security guard. They are garbage. That security company is garbage. I know this firsthand. I've worked with them. And if your life is in danger, they will not be the people that rescue you. You need to understand that. It's why if you're a man and you're taking your family there, you got to do it right. Protection is on you, not on mall security. If you're a mom, you don't let your kid go here. And it doesn't matter if people think you're racist because you don't want your kid going to this gang-infested garbage hole. You don't let your kid go there. Because again, just a couple of years ago, a 13-year-old girl, a couple of blocks from the mall, as a matter of fact, this immigrant saw her, knew her route, waited between the buildings, grabbed her, raped her, beat her. So even if your kid says, "Mom, you're mean," why won't you let me love her enough to say, "No, hang on, I'll take you, I'll be right there." And if it was me, even if Eli is, 15 years old, and he goes, I plan on him being armed. I just am, and I know that's that's against the law or whatever, but I'm going there with him. Like, I'm not going to be all in his business. I'm not going to be walking with his friends going, "Hey, how about those Bulls?" Anything like that. But I'm going to be there. And if something pops off, I'm his protector. That's what a dad does. That's what a man does. It does not surprise me that the security company did not step up. It does, however, surprise me that no men saw that and rushed out. I can't imagine if I'm sitting in Chili's and I'm having dinner with my wife and I see this happening, that I am not in that video and you guys don't see me mixing it up with those kids. I can't see a scenario where that's a thing. So it is very I can't see a scenario where that happens and like my buddy Doug doesn't go, hey, what the hell is going on out there? Hold my beer and go. I can't imagine a scenario where any of the people that I know, any of the men that I know, wouldn't be out there breaking that up. It's just, and Lynette, Mace is good. I'd show you something, but I don't know how the social media would take it. With women, I highly, highly recommend a firearm as your primary. Secondary, you need like a push dagger is awesome. And if you don't know what a push dagger is, talk to a guy that has a mild, I don't want to say violent streak, but a push dagger. PUSHDAGGER. A push dagger. It's great. As a matter of fact, my next podcast, the one that I have right here, it'll be sitting back there by that Trump cup, and you'll see it, and you'll be like, oh, okay. That, or they have what's called, I think, cat fingers. I have several friends that when their daughters were of age, I gave them a gift box. And in that gift box was a bunch of tools to keep them safe when they're away from home. And I would encourage women to gear up. Like, we're not living in sane times now, largely because of liberal policies that allow this type of progression. Like, I hear people saying that city growth is good. Yeah, if it's managed by competent people. Like the West Acres Mall is a great place. I used to take my kids there. If it's managed by competent people, like there's no way in heck I would send my wife and my kid alone to West Acres now, or to downtown Fargo now. At one point, I wouldn't have thought twice about it. Now, and my wife is armed. Eli doesn't come down the stairs unless he has his knife in his pocket, his EDC. He has his watch, he has his knife, he has his wallet. All of that in his pocket. So my kid would be better equipped to deal with a mugging situation like that. And if he was 15 years old, I mean, now absolutely not. But my kid would be better equipped, and I still would not allow him to go without me being there. You got to be 18, buddy. And you got to go with like-minded people. Like a bunch of these country boys, and Eli go to West Acres, I'm not worried. I'm not worried. If I get a call, I know it's, hey, Dad, the cops want to talk to you. Me and my friends kind of got into it with a bunch of gangbangers, and they ain't doing so hot. Be like, all right, I'll be there in a minute. You know, and Axe, I understand that too. We would be the first ones that and listen to me when I say this. I fully understand and expect to go to jail. What I do not expect is for me to sit idly by and watch a kid get the crap beat out of him by 6 people. That I'm not going to do. I'll go to jail. I'll argue it out in court. Oh, you hit a kid. Well, look at the video. Somebody should have hit him. Somebody should have hit these kids a very long time ago. They wouldn't act like this. So I understand, Axe, and I agree with you. But what I'm telling you is, in certain situations, you have to already have considered that possibility and be okay with it. I'll go sit in jail. That kid will thank me, though. His mom will thank me. My wife will love me because I did the thing that I was supposed to do. So, yeah, that's a concern, too. And it's not a light concern because especially you think about the guy in New York. You think about, what's his name? The kid from Kenosha. You think about those folks that brought their firearms out of their house and protected their property when Black Lives Matter clearly came on their property. They broke some of the things on their property. They came through the gate, and still those people had their firearms confiscated. They were arrested and had to go through, like, I think they only just maybe a year or two ago came to some resolution about that. I don't even think they got their firearms back. So I get it. But when I look at things like this, what I see is that, what was her name? The kid from Ukraine, the little girl, and she's on the train, and you got this huge black guy that comes behind her, stabs her. The look in her face, I couldn't abide that, man. I could not sit by. I would understand that after I aerated that idiot, that I would go to jail. I would know that. Well, I wouldn't be labeled a racist, Jamie. I'm black, so I can go in there and be full on, and yep, I'm black, so I take this hat off. My hair is just as nappy as those idiots. So I'd mix it up with them. That would be one thing that's something I guess you would have to worry about. But again, just have them play the video in court and say, hey, if this was your kid, would you want me to sit there and finish my cheeseburger? That's not my problem. Oh, I don't want to go to jail. Because if that's where we're at, society is gone. Society is gone. Yeah, Kenosha Kyle Rittenhouse, yeah. Aerating those idiots, and he had to go through all of that trauma. I mean, he came out on the other side, and the guy's doing great now. I follow him. He's doing great. But the fact that we allowed the upper echelons, the people who are supposed to know better and to run a city and to run society, the people that we charge with our safety, the fact that they have so abdicated their responsibilities that even if a citizen has to resort to protecting himself, he has to worry about the legal consequences. That's not an ordered society anymore. Ariana Zarutska. Yeah, you're right, Lynette. Like, I look at that kid's face, I can't even do it. Like, what she must have thought. You come to America, it's the land of milk and honey. It's the land of opportunity. I can come here with 2 dimes in my pocket and I can make something of myself. I'm safe, that whole thing. And she's sitting there, and you can tell she believes that. Like, if you take me, Leon, BlackBeardLogic, and I get on that train, one, I'm not sitting there because I can't have anybody behind me. So my back is going to be against the back of the bus, and I'm scoping the whole thing out the entire time. But I'm cynical, I'm old, I'm southern, I'm ornery, I'm crotchety, I'm whatever adjective you want to throw in there, mix it up. That label will stick. But you look at that kid, and then the realization she must have had that nobody is going to help her. There are people on the train, and no one is going to help her. I can't abide that. which is why I largely stay out of. I remove myself completely from those scenarios because I know how I would react. I know it. I make sure that my wife is never in that situation. I mean, it has to be an emergency for me to allow her to put herself in that situation. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. It's why people like me got so upset hearing Kim talk about restorative justice. I don't want to hear that from a prosecutor. I want to hear that from a defense attorney, maybe an indigent defender. I'll take that from those guys. From a prosecutor, we got a problem. We got a problem. If your prosecutor is talking about restorative justice, you have a problem. And scenes like this will only become more common because I guarantee you, this is my Southern coming, I guarantee you that these kids are going to get a slap on the wrist. They are. Because the people at the school, I would almost guarantee this too, is probably a white progressive woman, the principal there. And they probably have white progressive women counselors. And those kids, the mom is going to go in there because I doubt they have a dad. And I'll even go further than that. And I see my time. Sorry, Clay, I'm going over a little bit. One of the issues that I see here is if there was a dad in that house and these kids acted out and that dad did his fatherly duty and corrected them with physical discipline, which all of those kids need. They need it. If those kids went to school and told that their father put his hands on them, the father would be fighting court battles. Because white liberal women, they love nothing more than getting involved and helping out little black kids. Helping little black kids. They love nothing more than that. And I'm going to say this, as a black father, if those were my boys, they would want to go to jail. Because at least in jail, they're not going to get physical punishment. I see this, and those are my boys. One, that mom in that video, she's going to have all the house work completed for a year by my boys. The trash, the garden, the mowing the lawn, cleaning the windows. She's going to be treated like a queen. And two, and they look older. I got boxing gloves. We're going to mix it up. You want to hit someone defenseless? Hit me. Let's go. You're big enough to beat a kid like that? Beat me. Let's do this. Come on. Let's get out there. Put your shoes on. I'll wait. Make sure they're tied. I don't want you tripping. But yeah, we're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. And again, that's what should happen. But any of those boys, if they had a father like me, go to school and tell a white liberal woman that I did that, I'd have to fight. I'd have to have substantial financial resources because I would need substantial legal resources. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Back in the day, a guy saw something like that, like, and I'll even bring it closer, like not 50 years ago. I remember when that SRO in Fargo at that school, there were kids being disruptive, and he grabbed one, a black kid. SRO was white. He grabbed one, picked him up, and kind of shook him a little bit. I think he might have put him against the locker and was like, knock it off. Do you know they suspended that guy? And I know I was on radio saying, if that guy did my son like that, I would buy him a beer. I'd give him a gift card for like $100 because he had to do that to my dumb kid. My kid should be better behaved. The cop did nothing wrong, and I got pilloried for saying that. How could you? He's a little black kid, blah, blah, blah. This. I don't care. I don't give a damn. Decent kids shouldn't have to put up with your crappy kid. And if they do, if polite society has to deal with your BS kid because you didn't parent that kid, then you don't get a say in how discipline is met out to that kid by society. Because I guarantee you the world is going to kick his ass. That's not hyperbole. You don't discipline your kids, your sons in particular, the world is going to chew them up and spit them out. And they're not going to know what hit them because they don't have a decent grasp on consequences and actions. They need to understand that if you do a thing, there will be repercussions. And the more serious that thing, the more serious the repercussion. And sometimes that repercussion comes with pain and a period of convalescing afterwards. If more of us had that mentality, you see much less of this. And when you did see a thing like this, here, give me a second here.
Or bystander intervention happened until the fight was over outside. She made a police report who came 2 hours later.
Cops came 2 hours later. 2 hours later. No mall security. Mom calls cops. Cops get there 2 hours later. Here we go.
Me was that because they are kids, charges may not hold.
She says their school resource officer has been contacted for further discussion.
So, what's going to happen to these kids? You heard the mom. Cops told her, well, they're kids, so you can charge them, but it's probably not going to stick. And now this kid has to go back to school with these kids. Think about that. Anyway, I am Leon Francis. This is Blackbeard Logic. I hope you guys got something out of this podcast. If you got kids, hug them, but teach them right. Love them, but make sure you discipline them. Because I've said this 100 times, if I said it once. If you don't discipline your kid, you cannot be upset when society disciplines him for you. It's why in Minneapolis, when that mom, sad. I mean, sad because she won't come home to her kids. But that is an ordered society meting out consequences for her actions. And her actions were a complete disconnect between what is permissible by an authority figure and her place in the world. She thought she was the lead actor in this drama. She's not. Someone should have told her that a very long time ago. These kids, there should be very, very strict disciplinary actions against these kids. And I'm going to follow this. Because if there's not, you're going to see a lot more of this. Again, the reason why Minneapolis is Minneapolis, little Somalia, is because the people that run that city have advocated their responsibilities. And they've done that in the name of being woke. God bless. Good night. Leon Francis, BlackBeardLogic, Guns in the 701 Network. I'll see you next Friday. Yep. If any of those kids had discipline at home, they wouldn't have done any. 100%. Again, Axel, if this is my kid and I see this video, we're having a conversation. And by conversations, I have boxing gloves. I have MMA gloves. And they'll get some headgear, and they got to come with it. However you hit that kid on the ground, I want you to hit me like that. And I know that will have some people clutching their pearls. But that would, if I ever saw Eli and his friends out and they did something like this, I sit down, ask them what happened, make sure I got the truth out of them, and then, all right, go glove up. Make sure your shoes are tied. You might want to put your boots on. You want some good grip. Foot to ass, 100%. Anyway, I've said this a couple times. God bless. Good night. I think I might need to get a sandwich or something. Like, that's a thing. Low blood sugar or something. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you next week. This is Black.